Hello, bookworms! Today I'm going to be telling you about what is in my June TBR pile. Right before I started filming this, I realized that the spines look like Christmas because they're all red and green, and that made me really happy because I'm obsessed with Christmas, so I just thought that I would tell you that. So the first book that I really want to read is Soundless by Rochelle Mead. This is one of the books that I got at BEA, and I talked about it in my top 10 books that I want most from BEA video, so I will link that down below if you want to watch that one. But basically it's about this girl who lives in this town that is kind of near the mountains, and the way that they've been sustaining themselves is with deliveries from some mysterious place like higher in the mountains. And then this one day, the deliveries just kind of stop coming, and it's up to this one girl to try to save her entire town and figure out what it is that has caused them to stop. It's also supposed to be very rich in Chinese history, which I think is really interesting, and I love that it is a standalone novel, and it's only 200 and something pages, 263 pages, which is crazy to me because I don't know how she'll be able to tell one story like this in so little time, but I shall find out and let you know in my June wrap-up video. The next book that I'm going to be reading in June is The Knife of Never Letting Go, and this book is by Patrick Ness, who I met at BEA and loved. He was probably just one of the coolest people that I've ever met, so that made me really want to, kickstart reading everything that he's ever written, basically. I'm definitely going to be reading this, I think toward the beginning of the month, so I will let you know how that goes. I'm going to also be buddy reading it with my friend Alice. She hasn't read it either, so we were talking about it on Twitter, and we decided that it would be fun to have someone else who has never read it either, so that we can kind of theorize together as we get deeper into the series. I've talked about it in a few other videos, but it is about a town where everyone can hear everyone else's thoughts as this constant noise, and there's one boy that wants to escape, but obviously that's going to be pretty impossible if people can hear his thoughts all the time, and I'm just really looking forward to reading this because I just love Patrick Ness so much. The next book that I want to read in June is The Wrath in the Dawn. This is by Renee Adiha, I think. I can't really say her last name. It looks really good. It's 1001 Nights retelling, and it's about this girl who, it's about this emperor, actually, who constantly has a new wife. Every single night he just picks someone, and then by the morning they're murdered. So this one girl's friend gets chosen, and she's no, I need to save my friend. So she volunteers instead, and then she becomes the only wife who survives longer than the night. So obviously I'm really interested to find out how it is that she either convinces him to let her stay alive or what she does to kind of blackmail him into it. Everyone that I know that has read it has said amazing things about it, so I feel like I just need to read this as soon as possible. The next book that I'm going to be reading in June, which I've already started, is Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. This is the second book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, and I talked about the first one in my wrap-up. I loved the way that it was written. It's really beautiful. It's an angels and demons story. Again, I wasn't as into the romance as everyone else was, but I'm hoping that as I continue, I'll get more into it. But either way, it's worth it to read just for Laini Taylor's writing alone. So I'm looking forward to continuing this, and if I have enough time, I might even read the last book too, which is a monster of a book. It's very big, so I'll see if that happens. And the last book that I'm planning on reading in June is a reread of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and my teenage self is freaking out because this is the book that I've reread the most of any book, not only in the Harry Potter series, but just in my entire life in general. I have reread this over 20 times, so I'm interested to see how my reread now will compare, since, I had reread it that many times when I was younger. I would finish reading it and just start over, because I just loved it that much. The other ones, I have reread some of them a few times, but never have I read the other ones as much as I have read this one. So I'm curious to see if I'll remember the most detail about it, or just how it lives up to my expectations back then. So, yes. So that is my June TBR. Like I've said in previous videos, I'm keeping it down to 5 books per month, which I always exceed reading. And the reason that I do that is because I like to have options and not feel like I'm tied to this one list of things that I told people that I was going to read. So those are my 5 definites, and then you will catch the rest of what I read in my June wrap up. And I will see you guys soon with a new video. Bye! It's 1001 Nights retelling, I believe. Let me see if I said that correctly. Yes. Other ones, like, I have reread some of them a few times, but never as many as my... No. Words. I'm, like, so bad at ending things. I just stop and... oh well.